Hey, peer tutors, you're going to have a chance to help lead instruction on Monday. I'm going to have a sub, and I'll be back on Tuesday. One of the major topics you'll be covering is body region. So remember regional terms like frontal and mental and buccal. Students should be getting packets that have a table of all of the terms they need to define. Pass those out to your zones. Whoever has Maria, Kimberly, and Veronica in their zones, make sure that they get the Spanish versions of the packets. And also check in with the EA to make sure that everybody at the table understands the instructions, which I'm about to share with all of you. They're going to define each of the regional terms in their own words. They should be using this big yellow textbook as their primary source. There are 2 pages identified on the packet that'll tell them where to look. It's basically a big table, so they'll be able to see all of the definitions. What you want to do is some quality control. So you want to circulate as they're defining the terms and do some checks to make sure they're using the right resource. If they need to go to their locker, you can release them 2 at a time to go get those. I do have some classroom sets in the bookshelf so they can use those. There should not be a need for one of these per every student. So 2 people can look on and share a book pretty easily. So if that's the case, monitor the distribution and equal distribution of these resources and make sure that anything with a highlighted green label makes it back to the bookshelf. Then circulate the whole time, looking over their shoulders and seeing what their definitions look like, and then asking them to double check that they understand the terms that they're putting down as definitions. So don't allow any self-definitions like the clavicular region means the clavicles. Well, if they don't know that these are the clavicles, that's not a helpful term. So ask them if you see that, hey, can you point to the clavicles? And if they go, then cool, that's a fine word for them to use as a definition. If you see that the sternal region is defined as the sternum and you say point to the sternum and they go, I don't know, and then they look to find it on the diagram, then that isn't a helpful definition. Have them come up with something that describes, like, it's the center bone of the chest, or it's the necktie looking bone in the middle of the chest, you know? Also be aware that there are some common terms that are not too common and don't make a lot of sense. So if you see terms like the lumbar is defined as the loin region. Well, what the heck is a loin, right? Most people don't know what a loin is. It's like a certain cut of meat from the back. So unless you're meat scientists, you probably don't know that. So you might want to point out to the students, it's this lower back region. Like maybe say that it's the lower back, or it's where you get extra support in a chair, but have them define each term in a way that like resonates for them and makes sense and that they can actually point back to. When they near the end of the definitions, they're going to need to label the diagram. If I would expect that there are going to be a couple of terms that they're not going to be able to find in the book, and you can absolutely tell them what those terms are. Instead of having to say it 50 million times, maybe grab the whole table and say, let's go through the highlighted terms. And then point to the region, have them say the region, have them point to it, and then have them define it. Okay? And that'll save Cindy some work. At the end of the period, Cindy should be going through to double check or triple check that everybody has the right definitions, even for the terms that don't have labeled definitions. So make sure that you're circulating, checking in, and then if there's any extra time, go ahead and take your table and have them point to various body regions. So you call it out, point to frontal, and then everybody points to frontal, etc. Thanks.